So you've had a distinguished military career, and now you're looking at your next big challenge, breaking into the corporate world. It's a completely different field of play, with its own language, its own rules. We're going to break down a playbook to help you make that transition a massive success. This quote, oh, wow, it really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Your rank, your years of service, that commands respect, and it will absolutely get you in the door. But the real question is, once you're inside, what are the skills that are going to keep you there and, more importantly, help you climb the ladder? Look, let's be clear. Your leadership, your discipline, your integrity, those are huge assets. But to really make an impact, you have to learn how to translate that military value into a language the corporate world actually understands. And that's what we're here to do, give you that translation guide. First up, we've got to talk about what we call the capability gap. You know, this isn't just about finding a new job. It's about stepping into a totally different culture with a whole new set of priorities. And understanding that gap is the very first step to closing it. Here's the bottom line. Recruiters and hiring managers are trained to think in one way: business outcomes. Can you grow revenue? Can you cut costs? Can you make things more efficient? Your uniform signals authority, for sure. But you have to be the one to draw the line from your experience directly to those key business drivers. So how do you actually build that bridge from one world to the other? Well, we're going to lay out a strategic framework. It's built on 4 key pillars. Think of this as your roadmap for making that move from military commander to corporate leader. It all starts with reframing your role, learning to talk about what you did in corporate terms. Then it's about getting the right skill certifications. After that, you dive into targeted networking. And finally, you execute a really structured strategy to actually land that job. Now, this is super important. This is not a one-size-fits-all plan. The best strategy for you really depends on where you are in your career. Your experience and your assets are what dictate the best path forward. So let's break it down by the different stages of retirement. Okay, so if you're in this 40 to 45 age range, you're in a fantastic position. You've got a really long runway for a whole second career. And companies, they love the energy and adaptability you bring. The trick is to focus all that potential on a specific corporate domain where you can make a real difference. Just take a look at how well these military skills map directly to corporate needs. If you were in combat arms, for example, that experience translates beautifully to operations or supply chain management. A background in signals, that's a natural, easy fit for IT and cybersecurity. It's all about connecting the dots. This right here, this is where you see the real power of translation. Commanded 600 troops? Yeah, that's impressive, no doubt. But led a 600-member cross-functional workforce managing high-value assets? Now you're speaking a language that hiring managers get instantly. You're talking about scale, responsibility, and financial oversight. All right, now what if you've served 30 years, maybe more? Your strategic leadership is on another level. I mean, you've handled crises that most executives only read about in case studies. The challenge for you is to frame that incredible experience as a massive strategic asset, which is exactly how you counter any potential age bias. And to do that, you have to shift your language. You're going to move away from talking just about command and start talking about things like governance, compliance, and business continuity. This shows you understand the big picture, strategic concerns of the C-suite and the board. And for most senior officers, the value proposition, it shifts again. Let's be frank, the corporate world doesn't hire for rank alone. They hire you for your incredible network, your deep understanding of complex regulatory environments, and your proven ability to provide that high-level governance and oversight. So what does that mean in practice? Well, the most effective pathways are roles like becoming a certified independent director or taking on corporate advisory positions or consulting in strategic risk. These are the roles that leverage your unique high-level experience in a way that provides immense value to a corporation. Okay, so no matter what your retirement stage is, success requires a plan. Think of this next part as your job landing countdown. It's a practical timeline that you can follow, guiding your entire job search from more than a year out right up to the moment you land that offer. You really want to start this process early. We're talking 12 to 18 months out. That's when you choose your sector and start getting certifications. The next phase, from 6 to 12 months, is all about intensive networking. And then those final few months, that's when you activate those connections, get referrals, and absolutely nail the interviews. It's a structured campaign. So why are we harping on networking so much? Because a staggering 70%, that's 70, of corporate hiring is referral-based. Your network isn't just helpful, it is the primary channel you will most likely use to find your next role. This is a critical piece of intelligence for your mission. All right, let's talk about compensation. It's so important to go into this with realistic expectations. Here's a data-backed look at the likely salary ranges. But you'll notice the most important factor here. It all comes down to your certifications and just how relevant your skills are to the industry you're targeting. Okay, time for a final briefing. I'm going to be honest, the most critical part of this entire transition, it isn't just about skills or networking. It's about a fundamental, deep-seated shift in your mindset. So let's cover some of the hard truths you need to know. Here's the deal. In the corporate world, your incredible discipline is just the baseline expectation. It's not a differentiator. Your leadership experience is only valuable if you can talk about it using business vocabulary. And relying only on placement agencies, well, that can often limit your long-term growth potential. Now, these are the most common skill gaps we see. But more importantly, here's how to bridge them. Don't know how to read a P&L statement? You know what? There are courses for that. Need to brush up on data analysis? Learn Excel and Power BI. Every single one of these gaps has a solution you can start working on today. And ultimately, it all comes down to this one question. Are you ready to make the shift? To go from thinking like a commander to thinking like a business leader? Are you willing to be a student again? Your success really does hinge on that answer. And that brings us to the single most powerful mindset shift you can make. It's this. Moving from a focus on authority, I commanded men, to a focus on results, I delivered measurable operational outcomes. If you can make that shift, you won't just transition, you'll triumph.